We're here today in Dublin, and we are in Sundrive Velodrome, not too far from Dublin city centre. We've been here before, and we talked to a few people, but this time we talked to a few different people, and one of the girls is Ola Hendren, here on my left, for you on your right, and on my right hand side and for your left is Eimar Moran. Now, Eimar Moran has been a long time, about 15 years I heard, in the rowing as an elite here in Ireland, or rowed for Ireland as such, because I would say race, but rowed for Ireland, it's racing as well. And Ola Hendren is, well, the main woman really in women's cycling here in Ireland, you know, she's in the commission as well, I think, but she will explain to us herself. I'll start with the girl that I know most, and the oldest one, and Ola. Ola, tell us a bit more about women's cycling and how it have progressed in the last few years here in Ireland.
You know, it has come on a lot. But we've always had good, talented fields, but the numbers have definitely increased. It's a slow process, but and it's a hard sell, like for women, like to introduce them into women's cycling, you know, because it is a hard sport. But there's a lot of new beginner leagues that have been set up, which has really helped to introduce women into cycling, you know, so they can participate in a friendly environment, and it's, you know, not so intimidating, you know, competing with men, so they can compete against their peers, you know. And there's a number of well, particularly in the south, particularly here, quite close to here, that we have a track called Corky Park, and that's a great environment because it's a really safe facility for people to learn how to race and to improve their skills. So we use that a lot. Like, so if we had more facilities like that around the country, it would really help with that.
I've been noticing used to be women racing, and there were maybe 4 or 5 girls. Now we see 20 sometimes entering. So you have your own races nearly now. You know, you start before or after the man, but I saw the evidence as well of very good races in Bangor there last week, where we eventually we talked to Aidan Keenan, who never heard of her before, but then if you see her CV, my God, they're very strong women. How do you see your future now here? Because this is growing and growing, you know. How do you see your future now here as ladies in cycling here?
Well, hopefully it will continue to grow and grow, and as you can see, like that, Aidan came into the sport, you know, from another sport. Emer has come into the sport from another sport, and they're competing at a very high level, and you know, so we have the talent in the country. You know, it's just to continually, you know, it's a continuous process, because especially for women, because you know, women have children. You know, it's okay now. It's a much more shared role, but you know, there's always that element, you know, of family commitments and stuff. So you know, what we really need to do is to try and get into the schools and get younger athletes. You know, get to try and get more going on in the schools, you know, that it will be part of a school curriculum, you know. And I know a lot of work has been done with school safety and stuff like that, cycling to school and all that sort of thing, but there's not enough work being done with actually, you know, bring the kids racing, you know. So facilities like this are fantastic, so where the kids can come and they can hire bikes and they could, you know, learn how to ride on an outdoor velodrome. But obviously in the winter we can't do much, so that's where, you know, an indoor facility would just hugely help us, you know, develop the sport. You know, yeah, I have no doubt we have, you know, amazing talent in this country, and you know, we've already produced 2 juniors who are competing at the highest level off nothing. You know, they've gone out there and done 229s and 2K pursuits, you know, of very little track experience, you know. So if we can produce that, imagine what we could do if we had an indoor, you know. So facilities are the key to growing the sport.
Yeah. So if anybody watched this interview, if you have a few pounds, and I mean a few now, please get in touch here with Ola. She will give you the right addresses to get a velodrome, you know, built. Okay. No, and yes, yeah. We all can joke about it. I know it is a big effort and a lot of money involved to get that, but we need it because now we just don't know if we're going to carry on racing or maybe not, because just the weather. Also, also when you go, you're too much behind to the continent when you have to race against people who always can train and do in proper circumstances. Talking about new people in sport, Emar Moran. You come from a rowing background, you know. Even one of my sponsors, Gart Young, that you know, was a professional for a long time in rowing, and he actually came into cycling as well. Business-wise, still is interested in his rowing, of course. But how did it happen with you?
Well, up until last August, I had taken unpaid leave from work and was training full time down in the National Rowing Centre for the World Championships. The unfortunate part of that was towards about a month out from the World Championships, they had held more trials for the double, the women's double scull, and unfortunately, even though I was in the fastest double time-wise, they decided to pick a different girl. So I got very dismayed with the whole thing and just walked away from it. So then at work, Ger Ivory from Bray Wheelers and Karen Robinson said that, I should try the track cycling, that I'd probably be good because there's a good crossover between rowing and cycling. And I was like, okay. So I gave it a go and joined Sundrive track team, and basically the help and the encouragement has been amazing from everybody, and I really love it. And I've been over to a few velodromes now in Europe, because as Orla was saying, we don't have any here, and it's great. Like, I really enjoy it. So,
what sort of goals will you now put for yourself? You know, what you want to reach? You know, because if you know on the sport, you know, you maybe start very slowly. What is actually you really want to reach in the end?
Well, when I had started cycling, like taking up the track, I thought maybe, I'll just do it for fun. But as the time has been going on, I started racing kind of in April. And as Orla was saying there, Corca Park is really good for starting out and even progressing, because there's very good girls racing there every Tuesday evening, and it really brings you along. And the more I did it, the more I realised that actually I just love being competitive. So ideally I would love a chance to cycle for Ireland at an international level, and would do like anything to get there. Like if it entailed giving up work or whatever, I'd love that opportunity.
I suppose you have a family as well to look after. You have children and that sort of. No.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. No, it's just me.
Okay.
Well, my other half, but I'm not married, or I'm.
I didn't ask that question.
Anywhere at any time.
Yes, I heard that earlier. And another conversation, but we won't tell our viewers here now what we were confident about. But Orla, you know, girls like MR here, you know, it's really nice to see that even and don't excuse me for that, the older ladies, you know, I'm not talking old, but you know, the older ladies are also in, because these gaps have to be filled as well, because there's a too big gap between the very young ones and then our ages, or no, your ages, you know, sorry, not mine. So at least there's a bit of already something there.
Yes, yeah.
You know, and but do you see something progressing in a way? Will that gap, because once they become 18 and 19, will they still get further, because there's a big gap between 20 years old and maybe in 30-year-old, you know, that 10 year, will that be covered?
Yes, yeah. I mean, like it's again within the country. I feel we've got great coaches, you know. So like, you know, Emer, like Emer has alluded to already. You know, she came into Sundrive. She got some really good help there in Sundrive. You know, she's been coached very well. Like there's two very good coaches there in Sundrive, and who've really helped her, you know, along the way. And personally myself, I've had good coaching all the way along, you know, since I started. I've had great coaches, and here, in fact, here's our coach. So I think you know, we have it all here. We have the coaches, we have the riders. We just need the facilities, you know. Yeah.
Well, it was great to talk to you. I see that we're running out of time, because you have racing time again. The sun is coming through again here in Ireland. That's something that you pay money for now. But thanks for talking to us, girls. It was great to see you again, Orla. We know each other for a long time, and great to see a new face again, and a beautiful face as well. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.